Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Monday morning edition of Today in Sports Betting. No baseball games. That doesn't stop us from doing an MLB show. It's the first dark MLB day in a while, Scott, but it's all just the calm before the storm as the playoffs have been set. The teams are in. We know who's in. We know who's out. And we're getting ready to fire it up tomorrow. Are you excited? You got baseball fever?
Definitely looking forward to it. I know my Yankees have, I'd say, struggled a little bit down the stretch, but hopefully they'll be able to keep everything together, and hopefully it all works out.
Good. We're going to talk today. We touched on it briefly the other day, but now that the field is actually set, the numbers will be are in. We're going to talk a little bit about some of our favorite future plays for the World Series. Going to be a pretty short show, so just strap in for a minute. And we'll take a look. First of all, before we do that, Scott, tell me which of these series that you're most excited about as far as the American League goes. You got Houston, Minnesota, got the White Sox at Oakland, Toronto, Tampa Bay, and of course the Yankees and Cleveland. What
are you talking about from a betting perspective, or just?
No, I'm just talking about from a fan's perspective. What are you excited about there?
You're asking the Yankee fan what his favorite series in the American League is?
Well, I mean, obviously it's going to be. You're cheering for your home team, but what do you feel about the Indians? Do you feel that's a good opponent for them? Do you feel it's an easy out?
Well, we're gonna get into that for some of the future stuff now, but overall it should be a good matchup. I think this will probably go for. I think it'll go. I think it'll be a long series. I think that both teams should be able to win at least one game. I think this series should have some depth to it. I don't think that one team's immediately going to blow the other one out of the water. Now.
Just for our viewers, Scott, tell us real quick what the format is here for this first round.
So the format is, well, how do I put it? It's pretty fascinating. You end up having the higher seed with all three games at home.
So they're playing a best of three for starters. Everybody's playing best of three. There's no buys. There's no best of five. No single game elimination.
It's a 2 out of 3 series, right. But we don't switch home teams. The higher seed is the home team for all 3 games, or for however long the series lasts.
So they seeded for starters. They seeded by divisional position, not by record. So if you were the first place team in the American League Central, for example, and maybe you had a worse record than the second place team in another division, you're still you get the higher seed because you won your division.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the home teams are going to be Houston, the White Sox, Toronto, and the New York Yankees.
Yes. So in terms of your question, of course, the Yankee series is the one that interests me the most because I'm a Yankees fan. But out of everything else, Tampa, Toronto, I'm leaning Tampa. It's just a matter of, I know that they're division rivals. I get all that. But at the end of the day, I don't think Toronto is good enough at pitching. They made some moves to try to fix the pitching, but Tampa's just, for me, on another level when it comes to all-around starters, bullpen, etc. I just think Tampa's going to win. Oakland, Chicago, I think is pretty fascinating. Oakland hasn't won a playoff series in an eternity, and they're missing arguably their best player. But even after Chapman got injured, they've been holding the fort pretty well, and Chicago completely imploded over the last week and a half. So I do think that series has some upset potential. I know that Oakland is technically the home team, but as a whole, I think that series could go either way. Depending on if Chicago actually can rise up to the moment, et cetera, instead of shrinking due to the lack of playoff experience. And I think the Houston-Minnesota series is a very fascinating one. I personally think Minnesota is going to smack Houston because Houston set the record for the worst road win percentage by a playoff team in the history of the sport.
Dreadful. They were dreadful.
And Minnesota is 24-7 at home, and all 3 games are a target. Yeah, I think Minnesota is probably going to smack Houston. But
yeah, by the way, I misspoke. The home teams are Minnesota, Oakland, Tampa Bay, and Cleveland. They had and on a couple of them they had the pitchers reversed, and I was just actually looking at the pitchers matchup, so they had the home team listed first. So just to clarify, Minnesota, Oakland, Tampa Bay, and Cleveland are hosting. The Yankees are not hosting, by the way.
Yeah, the Yankees are not hosting. That I knew.
Okay, so there you go. That's on me. So, I'm looking at this Minnesota, Houston. It should be interesting. I don't know what it is that is giving the Astros the inability to play away from
You have the worst road team in the league, arguably, versus the best home team in the league. So I'm going to go with the home team.
Yeah, you have to. Maeda and Greinke go in the first one. Giolito's pitching for the White Sox against the A's. A's have not named a starter. Toronto has not named a starter. And in what should be the marquee matchup of the day, it's going to be Bieber and Cole. And we're going to talk about the odds on those tomorrow. But right now, we're just going to talk about future odds. Scott, I like to break it down in a couple different categories. So of our top three, you've got single-digit odds on the Dodgers at 3-1, the Yankees at 6.5, and the Braves at 6.5 to 1. Of those three, putting your homer hat on the shelf, who do you like?
Putting my homer hat on the shelf.
Yeah. Do you think is there any value on the Dodgers at 3-1, Scott? Do you want any part of that?
I think you can make an argument that at around 3-1 or 3.5 to 1, maybe, because the NL is so just weak.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you can make an argument that the Dodgers are head and shoulders above everybody, so they might have an easy path if you have some upsets in some other series. Now, do I think the Brewers are going to beat the Dodgers? No, especially after Burns went on the IL. I don't think the Brewers have enough starting pitching to get it done. I do like Woodruff. I think he's good. But other than that, who else are you relying on that rotation?
Yeah, losing Corbin Burns is huge for the Brewers. That's just a massive loss.
I mean, you're going to throw Lindblom in a game? Like, yeah, sure, have fun. I don't know. You got Brett Anderson, who has blisters, left the game early yesterday. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think they're gonna have to pitch. I think they're gonna have to start Lindblom at some point. I mean, he's actually been better lately. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I'm just throwing it out there that with Burns out, you're going to be relying on Woodruff to be the number one and work from there. Anderson's the veteran. He only pitched 2 innings yesterday because he had blisters. So now he's also injured. And they're going to have to try to scrape together a rotation. And I'm concerned because the Dodgers are the Dodgers.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about the first series there for the Dodgers.
So, yeah, I'm going to assume the Dodgers are going to win that series. And then you have to look at the other series in the NL and how unpredictable that whole league has been the entire year. Can you see massive upsets happening in the other first-round series? Because I can. I don't trust any of these teams in the National League.
No. I mean, the Dodgers are going to face the San Diego St. Louis winner in their second round.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. That's the 4 or 5 game right there. All right. So those three, who do you like?
If I had to put, a massive public one of the favorites, choose one of them, I'm leaning Dodgers. Not because they're the shortest on the board, but because the NL is so much weaker than the AL that I think that the Dodgers have a good chance of going up against a far inferior opponent in the second round onward, especially if you get some upsets that work in your favor. I'm assuming you'll agree with that.
Yeah, it's just boy, that's a tough one because I want to like.
I can't trust any team in the NL.
I want to like the Rays, but if they have such a tough second round assignment,
correct? Yeah,
getting past the Indians or the Yankees there,
it's tough. So, that's why it's
Yeah, I'd like a little better price on the Dodgers, but I think 3-1 is as good as you're going to get. And
I see 3.5 to 1, so I think that's a decent play potentially. Now that involves them exercising some demons and winning the title, which has been an issue.
Clayton,
but whichever series they are going to play in, worst case scenario, that you can hedge pretty easily on the other side because they're going to be hefty favorites in everything.
It'd be nice for Clayton Kershaw to look like Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs, but that's a different story. Okay, so now let's talk about our mid-range teams here, teams between 10-1 and 20-1, and that gives you the Padres, Braves, White Sox, Indians, Twins, Athletics, and Cubs. Of that mediocre group, the not so great 8 or whatever that. Who do you like there? Because I have a sneaking suspicion this is the group that the winner's going to come from. Don't quote me, but I think there's a very good possibility that the winner of the World Series comes from this group right here.
Just to repeat for people, you said from the group from what odds to what odds would you say?
From 10-1 to 20, from 10-1 or greater to less than 20-1.
Okay.
So
I got one team that fits that billing. I got one long shot, which hell, it's not even a spoiler. I basically said it on the other MLB show. But yeah, do you want to go first?
I like the Indians. I like the Indians. I like their pitching staff. I like the experience at the manager position with Francona.
Well, the Francona thing isn't fully going to play a factor because he hasn't exactly been with the team for the last month because he's had some health issues and stuff. So he hasn't been there.
I understand, but he's still the driving force behind this team. And if you think he's not making the moves, he's still making the moves. I think he's still dictating how things go for this team.
According to some reports over the last, it's from about a month ago, but Francona is apparently improving from his blood clot surgery, so there is a chance he could return midway through the playoffs, which would definitely provide a nice spark midway through. I thought Sandy Alomar actually has done a pretty good job taking over as manager in the meanwhile. I thought he did a very good job in September.
I'm still not convinced anyone has taken over. As long as there's TV and a phone.
I meant taking over as in holding down the fort until Francona comes back. I thought he did a pretty solid job with a smooth transition.
I'm still not convinced Francona isn't involved in the data in the game time decisions.
I think he could be. I'm just saying that when a manager has health issues and when they're not there, you could always have to wonder if that'll impact the psyche of the players, and apparently it does not because they were able to go on a win streak at the end of the year.
Yep.
I still remember I was fading them early September when they lost about 7 straight, and then they just kept winning games. And as we talked about before the show with momentum and how, some people don't believe in it, other people do. I have to believe it because I've seen teams go on massive runs in the playoffs that started earlier. For example, the Nationals last year. They were awful. They won a massive run, and that carried over. On top of my head, I can think of the Rockies as well, who made it to the World Series after having a phenomenal September back in –
won 23 of 25 or something ridiculous.
Something like that. And, they ended up making a serious run. So can you really find that many hotter teams right now than the Indians?
No, you can't. That's why I'm a fan of the Indians out of that group at 14-1. If I had to pick a National League team out of that, it's got to be the Braves. I've poo-pooed this Braves pitching staff for months, and all they do is win, baby. So
what price did you say about the Braves?
12-1.
Okay, yeah. That's starting to take still is just a massive problem. But I do actually kind of like that this team, or the core guys, I should say, ended up losing in embarrassing fashion in Game 5 last year against St. Louis, because that just means that they're just going to be very hungry for the situation, which I think will play a factor. Now, do I think they're going to win it all? No. I liked Atlanta before the season, but with Soroka, that definitely would have helped. But for the sake of the value here, why are the Twins at roughly 14-1? I'm just curious.
I've got to think it's because they can't get past the Yankees. I have to think their abysmal playoff record against the Yankees is a factor in this.
Well, my question for you is: we're talking about the record against the Yankees. They would play the Yankees in the ALCS, correct?
Right. So that's how it. Yeah, they're not going to see them. They're in the other. They're in the other.
So then who cares?
But and they've got winnable games up to that point. They've got.
That's what I'm saying. If you can just take the Twins and then just hedge if they end up playing the Yankees, I think the Yankees will be underdogs in that series, in my opinion. Well, they might. That's honestly tricky. It's actually on a neutral, so that's actually I might take that back. I think the Yankees might be slight favorites there, but I think the Twins, they were picks to come out of the AL before the season started when we were looking at it, and this team struggled a little bit, mostly because of the fact that the White Sox and Indians turned out to be, the White Sox were phenomenal all year before the last couple of weeks, and the Indians were solid over the last week or two. So the division itself was tougher than we thought it was going to be. But at 14-1, I think the Twins are a pretty good price.
They're certainly live. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure of the Twins pitching at this point.
I don't blame you. I think that's a fair complaint. I do think, though, that the lineup itself is one of the best lineups in baseball. So.
Oh, no. Yeah, I agree. As far as hitting goes, they're certainly one of the teams.
That's one thing that I factor in when it comes to baseball, when it comes to making deep runs. You need a team that specializes or that's elite in one specific area because it's going to get exposed.
If they still had, if Dobnik was still doing his thing and the way he was pitching at the beginning of the season, I would certainly like a more, Odorizzi's on the shelf. So you've got Kenta Maeda, you've got Rich Hill. and then you're looking at Barrios and Pineda. So
It's fine.
Yeah, it's not fine. There's nothing fine about that at all. So I don't know what you do with those
Now,
guys.
yeah, having said everything that I just said about the Twins, it's mostly just because of the section that they're in. They don't have to face the Yankees. They don't have to face the Indians. They don't have to face the Rays.
Well, the Twins open up with the Twins don't have to face the Yankees till the end. Yeah,
They don't have to face the Yankees. They don't have to face the Yankees. They don't have to face the Indians. They don't have to face the Rays.
right. Yeah, those teams are all at the
So that's
top.
that's the murderer's row section of the AL. So I'd say that the Twins have, I don't want to say an easy ride to the ALCS, but it's one of the easier paths. I think you can agree with that because I'm sure
Twins
would be thrilled to see either the A's or the White Sox instead of having to face the Yankees or Indians.
No, it is, and that's one of the things that you like about the Braves is the Braves don't have to mess with the Dodgers until the final round. You've got the Cincinnati Reds, and then you've got the Cubs Marlins winner. Nothing too frightening about that. So, okay, so that's who I like out of that group.
But by the way, anyway, I was in the middle of saying, so I do like the Twins because of the bracket layout.
Okay.
In terms of overall team, well, you stole my idea, like the Indians. I said that on Saturday. I think the Indians pitching is tremendous, and I think that this team, I can't say it fully reminds me of the Nationals team last year because their bullpen is actually good, and their lineup is significantly worse because they don't have a Juan Soto on the team. Jose Ramirez, though, is he's been on fire over the last week or two. But I just like this team because they can win games. I know the lineup has been a little bit inconsistent, but their closer led the AL in saves. Am I a big Brad Hand guy? No, but he's had a pretty good year. And the rotation, you have Bieber game 1, Plesac game 2, Carrasco game 3.
Yeah.
I don't really know what more you want besides maybe somebody else besides Carrasco who's been very good this year. That 1-2 punch is next level in terms of quality. I think the only issue you might ask is, well, the Indians could have had Bieber, Plesac, and Clevenger as their top 3, and they ended up trading Clevenger. So for separate reasons, of course. But, yeah, their rotation is really good. The bullpen's good. The team actually plays small ball, which I appreciate. I've seen Alomar bunt more than some other managers have done in the past month or so. So I do like, especially with baseballs and how you're going to see the conspiracy again of balls being juiced and then not being juiced because the run totals immediately plummet in the playoffs. Do you think we're going to see that again?
Yeah, you're going to see. Yeah, there's
I have to bring it up because the Indians thrive in low-scoring games.
I don't know who. Yeah, I don't. You spend too much time on Twitter. I don't know who doesn't.
No, I'm just asking because that was a huge conspiracy last year. I'm asking.
It's because pitching's better. It's because that pitching is better.
I think so. I don't know. There were a couple fly balls from last year that I thought kind of seemed a little bit iffy. But either way, MLB playoff games are obviously more low-scoring than regular season games, and I think that definitely fits into the Indians' comfort zone.
Yes, the bullpens get used differently, of course.
So, yeah, my 2 favorite players in terms of value on the AL would be the Twins, and it would be the Indians.
Let's talk long shots, Scott. 20 to 1 or better.
Well, this is my area for the National League. I think if you're going to take a wild card,
let me read them first.
Take a deep run. I was just going to say, in my opinion, I think for long shots, I'm kind of ignoring the AL. I know one team that you like for value that you mentioned on the show the other day. I just think the AL is an absolute gauntlet. But I'll let you go.
Okay. Well,
I know you're going to take. I'm just saying.
It leaves you with the Reds, the Astros, the Marlins, the Blue Jays, the Brewers, and the Cardinals. Scott, what do those teams all have in common except for 2 of them? They're all National League teams. They're all
okay. I mean, that's what I was saying. So
yeah. So, what am I going to pick?
I thought you were going to pick Toronto.
Yeah, I do like Toronto. I do like the young team. They're young and dumb. Nobody told them they shouldn't be here. Nobody told them they can't win. I like teams like that. It is always a matter of pitching with this Toronto team, and that's certainly the question. We'll have to see how that goes. They have to get past the Rays. I think that's winnable. But
Well,
it's
let me
certainly
ask you one question because it is worth mentioning for the sake. We can go into it tomorrow, etc. But I'll ask it now. How important do you think regular season series are in terms of wins and losses to the playoffs? Do you think there's any consistency when it comes to evaluating how these teams match up based on the regular season meetings, or no?
no. I mean,
I'm just asking because
maybe just a little,
Tampa
but
beat Toronto 6 out of 10, which is actually very close. So I'm asking, do
right.
you think that there is any chance that potentially carries over?
I think it could mean something as far as the attitude of the team goes, especially a young team that's unproven.
I think that matters too because for extreme case, like I think the Twins would have been mentally shot if they had to play the Yankees. Like I think that would have mattered. I think that if you have other teams that are close, I don't think it really matters. Division rivals will play each other tough anyway.
I'll tell you, I like the top of the Toronto rotation. After that, it gets sketchy. I like Hyun-Jin Ryu and I like Taiwan Walker. After that, good luck. You got Shoemaker, who's probably going to make that start. I don't hate it. I hope Robbie Ray, Tanner Roark don't see the field. You don't throw Chase Anderson out there. I'm not hating on you too much, but they've got a problem after the 1-2 punch, and they really do. So,
And if you can even call that a 1-2 punch.
well, I certainly do. I don't know any. I mean, I think both those guys have had fine seasons.
I think Ryu is obviously a solid one. Does Walker have any playoff experience really ever? I know that he was on the Diamondbacks and they made the playoffs maybe once or twice, but they never. I'm trying to think if they even won a playoff game. They won one, I think, against the Dodgers at one time.
Maybe.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, Walker I like as a pitcher, but he doesn't really have much playoff success in the past.
None of these guys do. None of these guys. They're all kids. I don't care. That's
Ryu's been in a couple of series with the Dodgers.
I'm not talking about Ryu. I'm talking about everybody else. I'm talking about the whole.
Okay,
the core of this team is they're young. They're young. They're inexperienced. They're kids. They don't know any better. That's And again, is Toronto probably going to win? No, probably not. Are you getting them at 33-1? Yeah. If you play this series 33 times, do they win once? Maybe.
Well, for the record, I found Toronto at 40-1. If you want.
Okay. Yeah. And this is. I know we say it, but always shop around your futures because you're definitely going to find value in the difference in price when it comes to futures. Are you going to find much difference in the NFL game tonight? Yeah, probably not. Are you going to find difference between 33 and 40-1? Yes, you are all day long. So make sure you shop there.
Yeah, in terms of my long shot that we're talking about, so are you going with Toronto and any other team, or you're just going with Toronto?
I would have if I took one from the National League side, I'd have to go with the Reds at 20-1. The Brewers and Cardinals don't interest me. I don't think they have enough pop. I like the Brewers who can hit a little bit. They've got Bauer and they've got Castillo rounding into form.
Well, I'm just going to ask: do you think the Marlins have a shot against the Cubs or no?
Yeah.
I'm asking because if they do, then the Reds would play the Marlins in the second round.
I understand. The Marlins shouldn't have had a shot at anybody all season. So
correct.
Yeah, I think the Marlins absolutely have a shot at the Cubs. Name a Cubs pitcher that you love. What Cubs pitcher can you count on?
Jeffries. That's it. That's the entire bullpen of people I rely on. It's one name. That's it.
Well, what about starters?
Lester's been good lately.
Right. I mean, you don't know what you're – okay.
Hendricks has been pretty good at home.
Hendricks has been better lately. Lester's been better lately. But are those two guys you really want to go to war with?
What about that? The fact that it's in Wrigley, I don't know if that really means as much because the Cubs hitters have been atrocious at Wrigley all year long. They can't hit the ball.
Well, and the weird thing is it's been a weird weather season at Wrigley. You've had a lot of wind blowing in. You haven't had much wind blowing out. You haven't seen those 10.5, 11 Wrigley totals that you're used to seeing there in the middle of July.
And that's a problem because if the Cubs can't hit and they're forced to rely on bullpen on their bullpen, a low scoring game, I think that's a problem. Is the Marlins bullpen great? No, but I actually think it might be better than the Cubs bullpen.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible.
So I think the Miami's got a shot. I think they're going to win the series. No, I'm going with the team with more experience. But I think the Marlins could potentially win it. I think the Braves will probably beat the Reds. I think it'll be close. But I think the Braves will win. I just think they have too much firepower, experience, whatever you want to call it. But my long shot, I hate that they got the 5. because I really didn't want to face the Dodgers. But I'm going with the Cardinals. I said the Cardinals on the Saturday video, and I'm going to go back to it.
All right.
At 40-1, I think it's a good price. This team made the NLCS last year. They have experience. I love the pitching staff. I think that their rotation's very good. Is it Indians level good? No. But if you're looking at a top 3 that you can count on, I know Flaherty struggled a bit over the last couple of weeks, which is concerning.
He's been dreadful.
Yeah, he's not been good. But you got Flaherty, you got Wainwright, you got Kim. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I think they're going to beat San Diego. I think San Diego is a solid team that's very entertaining. I think that the pitching, of course, has Lamet and Paddock, who are 2 very, very good starters. Nobody pretty much on the team besides Hosmer that I could think of, or even Machado's been there briefly, but he was on the Dodgers actually. So yeah, he had a deep playoff run or so. But really nobody on the roster has much playoff experience, and the Cardinals made it to the NLCS last year. I think the Cardinals do the little things. San Diego, I think, is good. I don't like their bullpen, and their bullpen's an issue. And I just think when push comes to shove, and the Cardinals are the more consistent team, and I think that it wouldn't surprise me if San Diego's bats slow down if this team kind of crumbles. And that's what I personally anticipate is going to happen. I think the Cardinals are going to win that series in an underdog pick.
I hate this Cardinals team.
I don't blame you. This Cardinals team is very inconsistent. It's just the Cardinals always seem to be that team where if nobody knows what's going to happen in the playoffs or if there's any sign of life, they just make the most of it. And I think the Cardinals will do enough to beat San Diego. Will they beat the Dodgers? Probably not. But I think they could give the Dodgers a run for their money.
All right.
My personal opinion. At 40-1, I'm going to take the team that made the NLCS last year that brought basically everybody back.
All right, good enough. I guess if you wanted to take a flyer, catching the AL champions at 25-1, everybody's kind of going to sleep on the Houston Astros. Is that a mistake, Scott?
I talked about how it's the worst matchup for them in round 1 because they're the worst road team in the league and they're against the best home team in the league. So it's really not a great spot to start.
I know you're a big fan of Twitter. Have you seen the stats floating around Twitter of everybody's
with the batting averages of everybody after the whatever? Yeah, I've seen it floating.
I figured you had. It was
the issue that I have with Houston is what area are they better than the Twins? And I know that you can say, well, the lineup, they still have Altuve. Yeah, congratulations, they're all batting like 230, like 250. Yeah. That doesn't mean anything. And the rotation, they have Greinke, who's been good, not Greinke level as he normally is. And Verlander was supposed to return to provide that spark, but he's out for the year, of course.
Yeah,
so
next year.
Yeah, who are you looking at? You got your Urquidy in the rotation. You're just throwing out names here.
I got Lance McCullers.
Yeah, which is sure. You got McCullers in there, who's what does he have, an ERA above 5?
I don't think he's had that, but no, I think he's had a better season than that.
Really? I thought he had an ERA of like 5 because he was awful in the beginning of the year.
Let me check. I just happen to have the Astros page up here.
Never mind. He's got an ERA of 3.93. Never mind.
Yeah, there you go.
His ERA on the road is 7.33. So that's where I got confused. I just remember him being awful in one area. But I can't roast the Twins rotation when they're facing Houston. I think both those rotations are either a wash or Minnesota even has a starting pitching advantage in that matchup.
I think they have an advantage.
So what area does Houston have an advantage over besides experience with Minnesota?
They have an advantage in the fact they're 25-1.
That's what I'm asking.
They got a nice price on them.
I'm just saying, I think that I'd agree with you if they weren't playing the Twins in round 1, because I think that matchup is a serious problem for Houston, in my opinion.
Agreed. And both of these teams, they're definitely flawed teams. They've shown they can lose to anybody at any time. So we've definitely both made money fading these two teams under the right circumstances. So no, I don't really believe in either one of those teams right now. So I'm just throwing it out there as a nice price on the ALCS champion last year, 25-1.
I'm just saying I think it looks good on paper, but I think that once you break down the team, you realize this team kind of sucks.
Although if you want to go with that strategy, who you're really getting a good price on would be the Nationals.
Yeah.
They're a really long shot.
Yeah.
All right, bud. Well, that'll give you a little insight into our thoughts here as far as the World Series futures goes. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about the individual games and break those down and tell you who we like as the American League kicks it off by themselves
So,
yesterday.
question: sorry, just to briefly interrupt. I know that we talked about who we liked. Are you going to be playing all of these? Or are you just going to pass on one of them or anything like that? Or you're going to be putting a sprinkle on a decent amount of these?
I will put a sprinkle on a decent amount of these. I think this is a wide open contest. I'll tell you what I won't be playing is the Dodgers. I'm loath to play 3-1 in a 16-team field, especially against a team that has shown a proclivity to choke in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So
especially with no home field.
Yeah, exactly. But some of the longer shots, I'll be putting 3 or 4 bets down probably. I'm going to play.
Yeah, I'm probably going to put sprinkles. I already mentioned the teams: the Indians, the Cardinals, and I wasn't going to do it, but after looking at the actual matchups, I have to put a sprinkle on the Twins.
Okay.
I have to. You're not facing the Indians, the Rays, or the Yankees until the ALCS. I don't know how I'm not supposed to consider that. Plus, if the Twins play the Indians, then I'm just free rolling a 15-14-1 into the title.
I don't hate the Reds either. They got to get past the Braves, of course.
That's the main issue. I think the Reds have the talent to do it. They clearly have the better rotation, and it's not even close.
That's the thing. I mean, you get past Max Fried. If Bauer can take care of business against Max Fried, if they can win that game 3-1, 3-2, something like that, the Braves are in serious trouble.
I got a question on that series. Who has the worst bullpen?
Between those two?
I think you can flip a coin. I think that both bullpens aren't exactly reliable, so to speak. Just throwing it out there. Which touches upon your point, because this series
the Braves pen's actually been okay.
It's been fine lately. It's just a matter of overall, do you really like anybody that they bring out? And I don't.
No.
But I'm saying that could go well for the Reds because of the fact that if both bullpens aren't up to par, especially the Braves, then the whole series can turn wide open, which is exactly what you look for in a long shot underdog.
Right, and you have Bauer that's got certainly has playoff experience versus
Bauer and Castillo.
Castillo's got
Castillo has no experience. I'm talking about just in terms of talent.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about Bauer has a ton of playoff experience there with the Indians, starting big games and pitching.
He made the World Series.
Max Fried does not. For all of his skills, this has kind of been a breakthrough year for him.
He came out of the bullpen last year with Atlanta. I don't even think he started a game with Atlanta in that series.
Right. So, all right.
Oh, well.
All right. Anything else?
No, it's just going to be the Cardinals at 40-1, the Indians at, I believe I said 15-1, 16-1? Yeah, 15-1, and the Twins at, the Indians at 16-1, and the Twins at 14-1 is what I see.
Okay. And I'll spin on the.
But we're both in agreement. We're not taking any of the super favorite chalky plays in a wide open. I don't want to call it nonsense bracket, but you know what I mean. It's anything could happen here. I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, I'm going to play the. I'll play the Braves, Indians, Blue Jays,
and Reds.
And 20-1 on the Reds. Yeah,
right.
That's it. All right, there you go, guys. That's it. That's a baseball show for today.
For the record,
huh?
All right, on Fox Bet is the Reds at 35-1.
Beautiful. That's better than 20-1.
Just throwing it out there before we end up closing.
Fox Bets is a tremendous site. They have a lot of plays that really interest me.
Yeah.
All right, very good, everybody. That's a baseball show for today. Should be fun. We've got the chaos that Major League Baseball wanted. We've got it right here in spades, everybody. So tune in, strap in. It's going to be fun. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about the individual matchups here on day one, which features the 4 American League teams, games rather. Let us know what you're playing, man. What do you want in the World Series contest here? Who do you like? Who do you not like? Are we crazy? Or you like our picks? You hate our picks? Whatever it is, drop it in the comment section. Let us know. See what you're thinking. And, of course, if you want to find out deep dives into each of these matchups, check out winnersandwhiners.com. There is no site like it. It is the #1 site for predictive sports analysis anywhere in the world. You try it, you'll like it, I promise. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, appreciate you stopping by. Good luck on all of your plays today. Enjoy it. Go out there, have some fun, make some money. We'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.